Hi, Julian here from Quizizz, and I want to share with you our fantastic new Quizizz and Canvas integration. If you did not know, Quizizz is now a Canvas partner, and we've made it easier than ever to add a Quizizz activity or resource into a Canvas course. There are three ways that you can do this. You can either add us as a standalone resource inside a module for students just to view and participate. You can add us as in what's called an embeddable element. Anywhere you have a text editor, you can add a Quizizz resource or activity, or you can even add us as an assignment, which is my personal favorite. This means that not only are students automatically signed in and they can do your activity, but the grades are automatically put back into the Canvas gradebook, so you have all your formative diagnostics data in one place. Want to find out how? Well, let's jump on in. Let's first of all talk about how you can add Quizizz as a resource into any module. So here is my Canvas course. I'm going to actually open up my course. Sorry, here we go. I want to add a Quizizz activity. So let's say module 1, I'm going to add it here. I'm going to choose from the drop-down list and choose what is called external tool. External tool shows all the tools that your Canvas admin has added. In this case, I have Quizizz. Now that I've done that, it's going to automatically log me in, and if this is the first time, it might ask you to log in, but it will remember you from that point forward, and I can go through and choose any particular activity or resource that I've created. So from my library here, let's say I want to bring in a lesson. Let's use my one here on the world's greatest innovations. I like this one. So we're going to click on play. I can choose to either make it a live activity or something they can do in their own time. I'm going to make this one for in their own time. And with just a click, I can go through and set any of the settings. And by the way, if you want to learn about those settings, please go through and look at our Quizizz documentation. But for this demo, I'm just going to click continue. And what you're now going to see happen is when I click add item, it has now automatically added that Quizizz and Canvas lesson straight into here. It always helps if you also make sure you hit publish. Please don't forget that step. Now let's look at the student side. Well, if I just refresh my screen, you'll now see that the Quizizz in Canvas lesson has shown up here. When a student clicks on it, just like magic, it's going to automatically open it up, bring it in as a resource, and display it straight for the student to go through and interact with. As simple as that. So now that we've talked about that, let's talk about the next step. How can we go through and add it as what's called an embedded element? When I'm talking about embedded elements, sometimes I want to create maybe a lesson. I want to have a whole bunch of resources and instruction. Well, we can use the text editor and a Canvas page to do this. Let me show you what I mean. Again, here I am as a teacher, and in my teacher view, I'm going to go through here and open up my lesson that I've started creating. Now, on this lesson here, I've got some YouTube videos and text. I actually want to add some flashcards here in my Quizizz resources. So I'm just going to go through and edit this page. Click on where I want to add my flashcards. In this case, I'm just going to add a return here. And I'm going to click on the plug symbol, view all, and I can choose Quizizz. And please excuse the fact that mine has Quizizz more than once. I really love Quizizz. Again, just like before, it's going to bring up my library. Now in this case, I want to bring in some flashcards. So I'm going to go through here, and here I have my flashcards on ethical use of AI in the classroom. So again, I'm going to click play. I can go to assign it. And with one click, I can go start. And what you're now going to see is it's now added it to the page. Let me hit save. And let's now go and have a look at what a student would see. Here is now the student view. So let's go back and open up the lesson. What the student now sees is this nice big Quizizz picture. By clicking on the picture, it will now open up, automatically log them in, and in this case, bring up that flashcard activity. Easy as that. So I'm going to click start, and now I can go through and learn my flashcards. How simple is that? Well, let's now go through and talk about the very last option, which, as I said, is actually my personal favorite. We're going to talk about how we can add it as an assignment. As I mentioned, the benefit of adding it as an assignment rather than just as a resource is when you add it as an assignment, the grades will automatically be passed back from Quizizz into the Canvas gradebook, so you can have all your assessment data in one place. So let's go through and talk about how we do it. Just like before, I'm going to go into either my module view and click plus to add an assignment, or just because I prefer doing it this way, I'm going to go to the assignment screen. Either will work, just so you know. But on the assignment screen, I'm going to click plus, and I'm going to add an assignment here. Now, this little small screen doesn't have enough data, so I'm going to click More Options, and now I can choose how I want this to work. I'm going to scroll down, and the type of assignment is really important here. We're going to choose, just like before, an external tool. And just like before, when I click on Find, I can click on Quizizz, and this will again bring up my library. So this is where I'm now going to choose one of my assessable activities. Again, what we used to call quizzes, and we're now trying to call assessments, just to make it a bit easier to identify. Let's say I'm going to bring up a particular assessment that I've already built on the solar system. You can scroll, but please note that you have a large library. You can also just search for what you're after. I've typed in solar, here's my solar system. Again, I can choose to make it live, an activity that I'm going to use in the classroom, or I can make it as an asynchronous activity. Either will work. For this demo, I'm going to go live. Now, again, I'm not here to talk about all the different game modes. Hopefully you know about these. You've been using Quizizz for a while. What I will stress, though, is something that's really cool. When you go into the Customize options, we've always had the feature to allow you to have what's called the, I've got to find it, I'm scrolling too fast, Name Factory, where it automatically makes up names for students. Here's the magic of the Quizizz integration with Canvas. You can have Name Factory on, which means that the students will have pretend names on the leaderboard so no one gets embarrassed. But when it brings that data back into Canvas, it will still magically tie it up to the correct name in the Canvas gradebook. So you can now have your cake and eat it too. So I'm going to turn that on for this particular example and go Start. Now, once I've done that though, I then have to click on Select. People always miss this last step, and now it's brought it in. It's automatically brought in the name. It's highlighted as a Quizizz activity. You can change this if you wish. It does give you a place to add instructions. So I'm going to say, please play the game below in class. So whatever instruction that you want to add. And all your favorite Canvas settings are here. I can set the point value. I can say, is it going to be for everybody, or maybe it's just for a particular class? I might say this is just my class A. I can set a due date, in my case, which day we're going to do it in class, and I'm going to do it today. So I'm going to put today's date. You have all your favorite Canvas assessment settings that you can now utilize. But when you're done, click Save and Publish, and it's now going to become available for those students the way that you've set it up. Now, I'm going to stay on the teacher screen for a second, because as a teacher, what I'm going to see is it's automatically logged me in, and because I said to make this a live activity, I can choose to start it now, or in this case, I'd open it up when I'm ready in class to do it. Let's go through and look at the student side. So again, I'm going to go back to my assignments, and I have that solar system quiz. So when the student comes in, you'll see that it's automatically signed the student in. They don't have to do anything. It's automatically brought in a pretend name because I said to do that. If not, it would automatically put their real name there for you. And now when the student goes and clicks Start, the game will begin as you would expect. Now, for the sake of this demo, I'm not going to sit here and do a full activity. I'm just going to do a couple here. Planets in order. Let's make sure I don't embarrass myself in the demonstration. So we have Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, and Uranus. I go Submit. We'll do one more question just so we have some data. And the moon is considered a natural what? It is a natural satellite. I probably should at least get one question wrong for our data. So let's go through and bring in one last question. What's the largest one? Neptune. So now that the student has completed that game, that data is now automatically brought into the grade. So the student still gets their coins, all the fun things that they like. But now as a student, if I click on my grades, I can actually see how I did in that particular activity. In fact, if I scroll down now and look for solar system, I can see that I got that 22.3 out of 30. As a teacher, I also do get to see exactly what was happening with my students. Let's have a quick look at a teacher's gradebook. So here on the teacher side, if I click on grades, I can actually see how the students did. And in fact, here I've actually preemptively filled in some data with some existing ones. And not only can I see that data, but if I click on the name of that activity, what you'll see, here inside Canvas is all that grade data. Here's Harry, which questions he got right, which ones he got wrong. I can look at each individual question, but all of that now accessed centrally right here in Canvas. So that's it. More fun, less fuss. The Canvas Quizizz integration.